Give me 1 second. I just spilled a drink all over my table. It's a great way to start the live. All right, we're trying to change it up, do some videos that are more like raw, not a bunch of heavy producing when it comes to software. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now, people, is I'm comparing the new Xbox Ally to the what is it called? The Steam Deck OLED. That's what you can see on my table right now. That is the Steam Deck. Then we have the Xbox Ally on the right. Okay, we're just going to talk about different aspects of the system and the performance. All right, 1 second. All right. So this is the game Gears of War 5, as you can see. All right, this is the basic Steam settings they have here. If you see on the left, it's looks a little weird. The exposure is a little bright. So I'm going to put a little audio on there. All right, just so you guys know, the system on the right is the X model of the Xbox Ally. That's the more expensive, high-end model of the system. All right, but right now we're looking at the one we're focusing on is Gears of War on the Steam Deck OLED. All right, I'm going to tell you what I see. You're probably not going to be able to see as clearly as I could see what these look like. All right, a lot of people online, they go on and on and on about OLEDs. It's like they act like it's the be-all, end-all. And now, once again, you cannot see what I see. It's kind of hard to, through a cell phone, it's hard to see what this stuff actually looks like. But from what I'm looking at, the OLED on the left is very sharp. It's very sharp. This is, once again, the basic settings for the Steam Deck. This is what it gives you right out the box, right? When it comes to graphical settings, the clarity of the textures and so on. The Xbox Ally, from what I see, the textures are better. I can go, even on the Steam Deck, I can go and mess around with the settings and get it to the same quality. But what I've noticed is that the performance is better in the Ally. And I mean, it should be, right? It costs more money. But yes, we're going to go by the screens. The contrast is very good on the Steam Deck, right? It's very, very good contrast, but it looks washed out, right? To me, it looks kind of washed out. And by that, I mean it's got black crush. The highlights are too high. I could probably mess around with the Play Killer Instinct Food TV. Yeah, I'll do that later, man. I don't have that installed on the Ally yet. I'll do it later. Once again, it sucks that you really can't see it. It's overexposed. All right, I'll bring it in a little, and maybe you can see it a little clearer. All right, that's the Steam Deck. Here is the Ally, Xbox Ally. What I've noticed on the Xbox Ally is the highlights. They look more like sunlight, and it has more of a bloominess, right? The Ally, this scene here, it looks more bloomy. I actually prefer the Ally here. It has way more detail. I'm going to look around. There's a lot of missing detail. I'm going to move around the environment just a little bit. So the Xbox, it looks good. The contrast is very contrasty, but it looks like it has black crush. All right. So in this scene, I actually way more prefer the Xbox Ally. It looks far better. I like the bloominess, the kind of glow of the water. There's also more perspective, which is weird because a lot of times people say OLEDs give more depth. But in this scene, when I look at the Xbox, there's way, way more depth. Maybe I need to mess with the settings. Maybe it's missing something, but I don't think it's missing anything. I think this is just the display itself that's not showing these details. This just looks like the Ally looks better, all right? Which is surprising because, everyone, well, for me, it's not surprising because I know TV technology. The OLED is not beating a LCD in every category. It's just not, okay? So I'm going to move around a little bit. See if I can actually show you guys this. And it's all washed out, which is really irritating. But I don't think this YouTube app will let me adjust this to make this look less glowy. I'm going to get it a little closer. All right, this is Gears of War 5 once again. on the, this is the Steam Deck OLED. You're seeing it. Okay, we're in the water now. Gonna go to the performance and see what that's like, and then we're gonna go down. We're gonna rappel down on the Ally. Okay. Okay, the game looks very good on the OLED. It really does. Again, that contrast is very nice. It's very nice, but those black levels are a little too black. Now, I might be able to adjust it and mess around with it some more to bring up that lighting to kind of make it less crushed. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I don't know why my camera's like constantly, it's like out of focus, and I have no idea why. I mean, I'm going to check and see, because I never do this, people. I don't really do live streams through this YouTube shit. It says live chat. Let's see that. So I put the live chat in here. You can also play PS games, okay? Okay. All right, so 1 second. I'm going to look at some more of the stuff. I wish this shit was not all out of focus. Like, what the hell? Anyway, I'm going to change the backlighting a little bit and see what if that changes up the look of this. Okay, it's at 60 frames. I'm looking for HDR. Maybe I need to calibrate that, maybe. Okay. Going to bring up the brightness and see if that changes anything. Maybe I'll change the settings. We're looking at the settings. It's set to recommended right now. I'm going to go to medium. All right, we're going to go to medium and see that if that changes up any of this stuff. Okay. Medium settings. All right. I'm going to go to, all right, so this screen actually is 90 hertz, people. The one on the Ally is 120 hertz. All right, so that does make a difference in smoothness, but an OLED does fill in some of those gaps because the OLED has like, the screens, it's very smooth. The pixels, the way the pixels work. Forgot exactly what they call it, but it does look a little smoother. You know, an OLED can look smoother even at a lower frame rate. 1 second. I'm looking around for the performance stuff on this device. Looking for the performance screen. They actually got a new setting in the Steam Deck. I didn't even notice. This actually brings up the highlights even further in the HDR without you having to go into the gaming settings. It's cool. One moment. Oh, here it is. I think this is how you show the performance. Okay. Wattage, 8.8 in watts. Okay. Went through that. I'm going to bring the audio up so you can hear what the audio is. That's on the Steam Deck. Audio's not too bad there. That actually sounds really good, I think. Steam Deck, people, is a very, very good device. Very, very, extremely good device for gaming. Even if it doesn't run everything at 100 frames or whatever, it does has very respectable performance. Like, look at this. This is running at times over 60 frames. At medium settings, I could probably bring the settings much lower and get more frames out of it. But I'm going to keep it on medium for our purposes. All right. So this is the Xbox Ally. We're going to rappel down. All right. I'm going to see what settings these are at. I have some issues with the amount of buttons they have here because unlike the Steam Deck, you have buttons on the face of control, but it doesn't go into it doesn't like jump into another operating system or another application. And like when you press the wrong button on the Ally, it jumps into EA Play or something. It jumps. There's a big jump there. So that can be a little bit irritating if you don't know what button you're pressing. All right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to go into the graphics settings. No, I don't think that's it, right? Now I got to go to graphics. Okay. Am I in the wrong place? I'm doing it live, people. I'm doing it live. All right. Game. Maybe it's in the video settings. Okay, so this is set to, is this set to ultra? Fill. Sorry, people. Okay, it says recommended quality. Okay, so we're going to go to medium just so it's equal. So it's equal to the Steam Deck. All right. Now, okay, temp 74. I'm looking at, okay, the frame rate right now, but we don't know what the wattage is. There's some things I have to learn on this device when it comes to the just setting up certain things like the screen where you can see all the stats. All right, I actually just started messing with the system today. I did a little bit yesterday. All right, so we're gonna listen to what the Steam Deck sounds like, or sorry, the Ally compared to the Steam Deck OLED. I'll tell you right off the bat, the clarity seems to be better on the Ally. There's like more sounds in there I can hear. But I feel like there's more bassiness to the sound on the Steam Deck. All right? Ergonomically, both devices feel great. Actually, most times when I use my Steam Deck, I actually use this thing I bought off of Amazon. It's kind of like a grip. I mean, if you don't have enough grip, you could buy something like this. It actually gives you more of a handle on the back. But I actually took that off today for this video. All right, so I'm holding the Steam Deck in my hand. Steam Deck still feels pretty good. I like the button placement. I like that it has these track pads. It's also got touch, where you can touch these right here. I think the placement of the rear buttons is very good on the Steam Deck. In some ways, I prefer the button layout on the Steam Deck over the Ally. But the Ally's got very good grips. The ergonomics of the Ally might be a little bit better, but it's slightly heavier. I can actually feel the heft of it, the Ally, right? All right, so I'm gonna rappel down. And so I'm noticing again, people, the thing I said earlier, I don't think it has anything to do with contrast or lighting. The Ally is actually showing more, that's an effect of the screen itself. Now, once again, a lot of people act like an OLED is the be-all, end-all, but in this scene, the Ally is actually showing more detail, far more detail. You can see the rainbow. The lighting is very bloomy. It has a kind of like a fogginess to it. It has a fogginess is what you want to have because it gives the impression of humidity, right? And next to all this water splashing everywhere, it gives you the sense that there's moisture in the air. When you look at the Steam Deck, it doesn't give you that at all. It's a good image. It's a very contrasty, punchy image and it's sharp. You know, it's pretty sharp. It's contrasty, but it's missing a lot of those details. It doesn't have that same kind of glow. It's a little too harsh, too intense. It doesn't have that soft glow. I could sort of see it here where I look up. You can see some of that glow. But it's much harder. It's got a much harder look, much harder edge to it. It doesn't have the softness of the Ally. So, once again, just because you have an OLED doesn't mean it's going to beat the non-OLED in a category. There's a reason why they now have what they call the QD OLEDs, which is actually a hybrid of LEDs and OLED technology. If the OLEDs had it all, right, they wouldn't be doing stuff, making technology like that, okay? Because it would be considered perfect, right? All right. Another thing I'm noticing here from the systems is that the Steam Deck screen, I think, is actually bigger. I feel like this screen is bigger on Steam Deck. There's more of a screen door effect on the Ally, which is kind of crazy because you have yourself here a $1,000 device and a $500. I think what am I wrong? I think this is $500 or $600. I forget how much the Steam Deck OLED cost. But you know, I'll just say it's around $600. This thing is $600. The Ally's $1,000. So you think everything would be better on the Ally. But once again, there's some things I really like about the Ally. There's a lot of flexibility there. You can run Windows apps. You're getting more performance, but you don't have that OLED screen. But once again, that OLED is in everything. In some categories, the LED does beat the OLED. All right, we're gonna look at this right now. I'm looking at the scene right now that they're running at the same. Actually, I could be wrong on that. This might be running at a higher resolution on the Ally. I might have it at 1080p. I'm going to check that real quick. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to check and see what the resolution here is. Because if this is 1080p, then obviously, yes, it's in 1080p. That's in 1080p. The Steam Deck is in, I think it's native resolution. Let's see that one. Let's see that. 1 second. All right. I'm going to see if I raise this, if I can raise this to 1080p. No, it won't let me. I have to do that in the setup when I first start the game. Let's see. It's 1920, right? That's what it is. 1920 by 1080. Did I pass it? Nope, it does not let you put it in 1080p. Okay, I don't want to bring this up too high. I forgot what the native resolution is of a Steam Deck. E by 800, is that it? I assume that's it. Okay. Anyway, the Ally is clearly sharper. All right, it's a 1080p. The Steam Deck does not. The Steam Deck has more screen real estate. The Ally has more of a widescreen look to it. It's a little wider. Steam Deck is more, it's more of a vertical. It's a little more vertical space there. I mean, all around, obviously, it's a bigger screen. That's what it is. Okay. So we're going to look at the frame rates right now. Let's see the wattage. I should have put the higher detailed layout here, but the Steam Deck is running right now at, we're going to get close to the waterfall. It's 59 frames. The Ally is running at, let's see how many frames, 71. We get near the water. You guys can't see this. All right. Ally 70 frames right here. Steam Deck is next to the water. Let's do it again. It's at 60, it's at 50, 54, 51 frames, 59 frames around there when you get near this water. All right. And again, this Ally is not pumped up to its max. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to its, so it's a slightly bit clunky. I'm still, like I said, I'm still getting used to this device. There's a boost mode on here I want to try out and see how that runs. Damn. Forgot where it is. Enable. Somebody who has owned this for a few days is probably like, you idiot! Do you not know what you're doing? No, I don't. I don't know where I'm supposed to go to actually access some of these menus. I'm looking for the boost mode they have on here. Okay, one's the, say, let's get out of that. Where are they? What are these settings? Okay. All right. See if I can actually get this thing to work. All right. Let's see. Where the F is these settings? There's a setting that lets you boost. Okay, real-time monitoring. Nope. Where the F? And maybe I'll go in here. Maybe that'll do it. Performance. Update center. Calibration. Is that it? Let's go to performance. Maybe that's what that's what I would think it would be. Okay, so it's in turbo right now. Turbo. I don't know what that means. You would think that turbo would be for performance, but then it also has a performance mode. These guys got to make up their mind. We go to performance. What's the difference? Usage. Okay, so that's more usage, is it? Oh no, it's less. CPU stats, frequency usage. I don't understand. Dude, if you, I guess maybe the turbo just raises the wattage. Okay, maybe I got to turn that eco. Either way, we're going to go back to the game. People, I'm doing it live. This is a live comparison, all right? We're going to try out another game after this. We're going to try out a game called Dark Sector. It's an older title. Okay, so I loaded all this stuff into the system today. Okay, we're going to go back. Resume this. Put some audio on in this piece, huh? Let's hear some freaking play. Let's try to move around in this biatch. All right, so this is the Xbox Ally I'm playing right now. You guys can see the frame rate. Hopefully you can actually see this. I'm going to raise my phone just slightly. It's not all weird. Come on, you piece of shit. My tripod's very weird. Okay. See if I can put this in a place where I can actually, you can get a good angle. Okay, 74 frames. It's It's staying. It's hovering around the upper 60s and the mid 70s. Okay, gonna get into a little firefight and see what that looks like. All right, let's say hey. Gyro controls, people. See that? It's one of my favorite ways to play video games. PC games. Gyro aiming is freaking awesome. That should be in everything. See? Anyway, let's load this gun, people. Every time you reload, you do your active reloads. This system has more intense vibrations in the triggers in the body of the control, which is really cool. You usually don't get that out of a portable. I noticed the Nintendo Switch does a good job with that. Okay, so there's some good contrast here, very good contrast in the scene. All right, this device has no HDR. All right. All right, so we're going to go back to the Steam Deck real quick. We're going to get to the same scene and see what that looks like. The contrast is probably going to be night and day with the Steam Deck because it's got that OLED screen. And that's where the OLEDs perform the best, is in these high contrast environments. Right. Now, let's go. I don't know why I can't run. Can I run, please? Guess you can't run in the water. You got to walk. Okay, let's go. Okay, I don't know what's up with this. Hopefully, oh, I think I changed the configuration. So we're going to run a little. Bring up the audio here. Definitely doesn't have the same feel over here in the Steam Deck as it does on the Xbox Ally. The Ally has that vibrations and all that. The Steam Deck has it as well, but it's so subtle. It doesn't have nowhere near the kind of punchiness. I mean, it's almost night and day, the feel. Okay, let's get up there, bro. Again, believe it or not, that 1080p is a big difference. The Steam Deck with the OLED looks great, right? It's good clarity. But that resolution makes a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the resolution up slightly on the Steam Deck. Okay, we're going to bring it up slightly. Even though this is not a 1080p screen, we can bring this resolution up slightly to kind of get closer to the Ally. All right, just clarity in the screen. Okay, I brought it up slightly. Maybe I need to turn off the HDR or something because the clarity here, it's a little more foggy, even though I brought up the resolution. It looks very good on the Ally. Again, the contrast is the biggest thing. These are the same graphical settings, but the Ally looks much sharper. Even with the higher the resolution I brought it up here, the Ally still is beating the Steam Deck in clarity. Now here, this is where the OLED excels. Okay, I'm going to show you this. I don't know if you guys could see it here, but you probably can. I'm going to turn the lights off in my room. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, but we get those satellites up, we can fry the storm from orbit.
This is, it sucks that you really can't see it, and I can't change the exposure in a live video. So let's hope you guys can sort of see it. I'm going to move the Steam Deck up so you guys can see both systems at the same time. All right. You really can't see it. It really sucks. Sorry, people. You can't see it, but what I see right now is that the Steam Deck really, really excels here. It does. I mean, the highlights are just ridiculously bright on the Steam Deck, just because it's more punchy when it comes to contrast. And again, that is a device that is, I mean, this device here on the right is actually almost twice the price of the Steam Deck. Okay? It's like twice the price, almost. That Steam Deck, the Steam Deck is just, the contrast is just ridiculous. All right? Here's Allies on the right. The Ally's got a much brighter image. The black levels on the Ally are just, they're not completely washed, but they're nowhere near as pronounced. That contrast is nowhere near as pronounced on the Ally as it is on the Steam Deck. I'm going to turn my lights back on. But even though it is brighter, or not maybe not brighter, it's just more the Steam Deck. The contrast is just much greater. The black levels are ultra black. The color is really good too. They're kind of trading blows when it comes to color. The blue on the Ally is actually a better. It's like real true blue. Where on the Steam Deck it looks kind of like purple. The blue. All right. So just going to go ahead a little bit in the game. See, I'm going to go look at the settings to lower the brightness and see if that changes up the contrast a little bit. That helps it. But again, not only is the Steam Deck a OLED, but it also has HDR support. So that brings those out more. I lowered the backlight a little bit on the...
Trying to search a place that's falling apart.
All right.
Quickly.
All right.
We can use the ledge.
So El Barbarino has returned, people. I'm going to put this on for a second and probably go and... All right. All right, so I'm just going to walk a little bit in Gears of War, and I'll tell you guys what I think. It's kind of a live breakdown. By kind of, I mean it's doing it live. I'm doing it live. Okay?
Hey, get back. Oh, shit.
Trying to search a place that's falling apart.
Quickly.
Okay, so now we're going to do another performance test. Okay, the guys are in the same area. 1 second. Okay. Left and right, checking these out. I'm going to bring the backlight back up on the Ally because I lowered it just to kind of get a more contrasty image. We can do this. Okay, actually the lighting's not all the way up. Again, I mean, look, the Ally's image is a little brighter. There seems to be more detail in it. The kind of cloudiness in the environment, that kind of cloudiness in the environment looks better on the Xbox Ally. Looks better, people. There are certain things about the Ally, the screen that show more detail than the OLED does. The OLED, in many ways, at times is very washed out. It's got a very contrasty, punchy image. But many times it is washed. It is a washed image. The Ally is razor sharp at 1080p. I brought the resolution up on the Steam Deck, and it just doesn't look as sharp as the Ally. You know, and that's obviously this is not a 1080p screen, but you know, even you bring up the sharpness a little bit. Sometimes I think it like super samples it, so you get sort of a clarity to it. But the Ally screen clearly looks sharper. So that's something to keep in mind if you go and you buy the $400 or $500 version of this system, right? I think it's $600, the starting price for the Ally. It has the same screen as this one, the same screen, and so you're still going to get more clarity. You're going to get more clarity. You're not going to have an OLED, but at times you're going to get more clarity out of that LCD screen. It's just not the be-all end-all. This whole OLED hype. I own OLEDs, plasmas, QLEDs.
Seems a little...
And actually, in a lot of ways, I don't think this is a QD OLED. This is a basic OLED. The Steam Deck. It's not. I don't think it's QD. So actually, LED technology has a brighter image. It has more vivid colors than a basic OLED monitor. Okay, it does. It's just the way it is. It's going to have a brighter image. The Steam Deck has been advertised, this OLED one has been advertised as having, I forgot what it was. I think 600 nits or I think it was 6,000 nits, right? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. It could be like 600. I think it's 600 nits, and the people are measuring these levels and are actually finding that the brightness is around 300. Now this device here is, I think it's 500 nits. So it actually in some ways may be getting brighter than your OLED. It's getting brighter. Now the highlights look really nice and bright on here.
Hey, over there.
But they're out of control. They look blurry. Even though they are very bright, it's kind of a blurry image. Maybe I need to mess around with the contrast some more, but it looks kind of blurry. But anyway, we're going to do a performance test right now. I'm going to change the settings. I'm going to put it on ultra settings on the Ally. And we're going to put it on ultra on the Steam Deck and see what's up. All right. And this is 1080p at ultra settings. And we're going to go into the settings on the Steam Deck and we're going to put it, match the settings up, even though they're not completely identical because this is not doing 1080p. We're going to bring this down back to to the native resolution of the Steam Deck. Okay, there you go. It's at ultra settings. Now we're going to go back to the Ally, and this is where the power of the Ally really shows. Because as you guys can see on the Steam Deck, the frame rate at ultra settings is 29 frames. On the Ally right now, I'm not moving or anything, but you got to keep in mind the Ally right now is at 1080p. The Steam Deck is at a lower resolution, and it's 28 frames. I'm just standing in one spot. The Ally's 72 frames, is it? Let me see. And that's not 72, it's 60. It's around 60, it's jumping around a little bit. 60, let me see. I'm looking at the temperature, see if they have the temps over here. Yeah, I've actually, my readout here on the Steam Deck, I need to add more detail to that. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can get the temps. Okay, where's the temps? Where's the temp? I think the temperature's at the top. The CPU is 72. The GPU is 76. The Ally, the temperature is 72. Okay, I don't have all the details there, but anyway, I'm actually going to shorten this. I don't want to have crap all over the screen. All right. Anyway, we're going to move around a little bit. Actually, we'll look straight up in the air and see what the frames are. All right, looking up in the air, the Steam Deck's jumping up to, sorry that this is out of focus. Steam Deck is at 38 frames. Looking up in the sky, the Ally's 62 frames, all right? This is why it's good to do these pre-recorded, because then you can kind of just show the readouts real easy side by side. I thought, hey, let's do it live. The real Food TV, people. You're watching real Food TV. This Food Gaming Live. Okay, 36 frames. I mean, Steam Deck, what I would do is I probably would lock it. If it's at ultra settings, you probably want to lock your frame rate to around. You want to lock it at what you call it? Probably 40 frames. I'd probably be fine 40 frames. Wouldn't be bad. I mean, Steam Deck. I mean, on a portable device, 40 frames looks amazing. On a full TV, it doesn't look the best, but it looks pretty damn good on a. The frame rate jumped all the way down to 29 frames into 28. Okay. Still looks fine. It's totally playable. Now it's 28 frames, 27 frames. Okay. Clarity is not really there. Game looks very good on the Steam Deck. Very, very good, but the clarity really is not there. This device here, even though it looks very, very good on the Steam Deck, extremely good. All right, we're going to now look at we're going to play a little bit more on the Ally. Okay, Ally X. Very smooth, very, very smooth, bright image, very clear, very clean. It doesn't have the punchiness and highlights of the Steam Deck, and that's a shame. That is a shame, but it's not 100% better. Like the screen is not 100% better on the Steam Deck. In some ways, they're trading blows, but the Steam Deck for sure is winning in when it comes to contrast. Okay. I'm getting confused because I have different control setups for each device. Okay, I'm looking at the frame rate. It's hovering around the 50, 60, and 59.
You guys plan to launch a satellite from here? It seems a little half-baked.
Well, half-baked plans are kind of Baird's specialty.
How Baird even figured out the headlines?
My father, before he died, he let Baird in on a few cod secrets. In this island,
Okay, now it jumped over here to 50 frames. Not too good. I mean, it's better than the Steam Deck, that's for sure.
Only a handful of us made it off the Zero alive.
It's interesting, the vibrations. You can feel like the body of the control vibrates as you're running past. You get more of a tactile feeling on this comp. You get more like, you get more physical feelings. I don't know what you say. It just vibrates more, the control. It has more of it feels more weighty because of that. The game, there's more life to it.
Okay, let's go. Get back. We're coming down.
All right, this part right here was jumping all the way down to what, 28 frames on the Steam Deck. Right here at the lowest it jumped down was to 48 frames. Okay. I can't run.
Guess who? Dave, send a pulse and let's see what we're dealing with. Ah, there they are.
Sorry about my tripod, people. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can fix this shit. See if I can kind of organize this and it'll look like shit. Okay. See if that's a little better.
Toss a flag if you got him. Fire in the hole!
Yep, still looking like just shit. I got to get my tripod a little better. Okay. A bit crooked. Again, they need to put this gyro aiming needs to be on all systems. That makes shooters feel so much better when you have that gyro aiming. You just move the whole control. It's extremely precise. Analog sticks are very non-precise. Let's bring this up just slightly. Bring the shot up.
Delta out. Come on, we're gonna find one of those silos. Assuming the swarm haven't ripped them all apart.
Hey, I think
Okay.
we can get down this way.
I mean, the game's very playable on both systems. They can both run it in ultra. It's pretty impressive on both.
I'm okay, all right?
Okay, I'm gonna get out of this game. All right, sorry, it's very blurry on my camera. The screen is actually razor sharp, but on here, it's just the way the camera picks it up, it looks like shit. All right. I didn't load too much software onto here. Okay, I'm gonna see what I got running right here. Okay, so put this dark sector. We'll start that from the beginning, just to show you what an older game looks like running on both devices. Steam Deck, that's really where one of the places it excels is in these older titles. I mean, it's a very, very good, capable system. I mean, you could play basically almost anything on a Steam Deck. Screen's very good. I think the Ally actually has more compatibility with older games. Right? Earlier, I played the game Soldier of Fortune. It's an old game from like I think early 2000s. That worked perfectly on the Ally. On the Steam Deck, I'm having all kinds of issues with it. I can't even really get it to run. Okay, I'm gonna start this game from the beginning. Let's see, wait, load new game. Okay, put this on the Steam Deck. This is a game called Dark Sector. You're watching it running live on the Xbox Ally. And for people who say that the Xbox Ally is not an Xbox, they actually sell the Xbox Ally in the Xbox section at Walmart. So yes. And the Steam Deck, I didn't even see it getting sold. I didn't even see it being sold in the city like that. All right, I'm putting the Dark Sector game on the. I'm going to see. Hopefully, it works on my Steam Deck because I am running it on here. It's on Steam, running on the Ally, and I don't know if they can run at the same time. It looks like it's going to run. That's pretty awesome because I don't have this one connected to the internet right now. I'm going to back this up slightly. One second. I'm on the Steam Deck, starting it up on there.
Can't do this again.
Just stay focused. Use your training.
I thought I could.
Past the point of no return. You're already inside the compound. Decisions made.
Are you sure this thing isn't airborne?
It's not, but even if it is, your booster's good for another 6 hours. Now get with it. Plant your charges. Then infiltrate the building.
I'm going to jump ahead here on the Steam Deck. Let me see the backlight's up on here. I'm waiting for the Steam Deck to get to the same part. All right, I'm going to bring up the Steam Deck audio.
I can't do this again.
Steam Deck, once again, has more of like a bassy sound to it. It sounds a little more bassy. The Ally is a sharper sound to it. It's a little more trebly.
Are you sure this thing isn't airborne?
It's not, but even if it is, your booster's good.
Okay. Let me see where the backlight is up here. So I can bring it up just a little bit more. And actually, I can. I'm going to bring it all the way up on the Steam Deck, the backlight, because I have it all the way up on the Ally. Okay. Our frame rate here on the Ally is 120 frames. All right. You can see there it's 120. The Steam Deck, it's 90 frames. All right. We don't know how dynamic that's going to be. We have to move around to see that. Okay, move around. It's jumping around just a little bit. It's staying around 90. The Steam Deck can run this just fine. If you put this on if you were to put this on a big screen TV, it would probably look just fine. It would run it might actually run faster because the display on this monitor is set to 90 frames and so it's hitting that cap. But I think the Steam Deck can probably run this title probably at over 120 frames. The Ally has a 120 frame monitor, so it hits that 120. Visually, they look almost identical, except the Steam Deck, once again, has more clarity because of that OLED monitor. Actually, it doesn't have more clarity. It just has better contrast. The Steam Deck the Ally actually has more clarity. It's a sharper image, right? Which is interesting because I think these are both running at the same resolution. You add the screen here, I guess it just displays. It just looks sharper on the Ally. I'm going to go through here. All right, gonna go around the room. You guys probably can't see. Once again, I'm probably gonna do another video on this where I'm just gonna plug these devices into a capture card. All right, this is just a raw image of what you see with your eyes. I'm trying to get as close as I can to what you see with your eyes, but it's hard to capture that in a live YouTube video, and I cannot adjust the exposure of these images. This image is not as sharp. It's not as contrasty as you see how it like glows. When I get closer, that glow goes away. So you're not getting a true idea of what these look like, but this is what I'm telling you. The Steam Deck is more contrasty. The Ally is it's a brighter image. It's the black levels are more there. You could say they're more washed. They're more washed. The instead of being black, inky black, they're more like a grayish, kind of whitish. They have a little white in there. Okay. All right. I'm going to be talking about the system more soon, people, but I'm going to get out of here. All right. You can see it. If you want yourself a system that's a higher frame rate, this also supports FSR4, the Ally. I don't think the Steam Deck does. You have a system here that supports Windows in the Ally, right? Some of the things I don't like about the Ally is the fact that it doesn't have the trackpads. It doesn't have trackpads. I do like those in the Steam Deck. It also doesn't have the touch-sensitive pad in the thumbsticks, all right? It doesn't have that. Also, I prefer the rear buttons on the Steam Deck to the Ally. You know, and it has 2 more buttons on there. The Ally has 2 back buttons. The Steam Deck has 4. Okay. The Steam Deck has been around longer, so it's a little easier to navigate. Actually, I'm getting used to the Ally. The Ally just has more options. So a lot more options, and it's got more performance. And from a portable standpoint, the Steam Deck has a more contrasty screen that might be slightly bigger, but the Ally has a sharper picture and a faster screen, right? Faster inputs as well. The device I could see from this, we're reading at the temperature on the. I'm gonna guess that the temps are lower on the Ally because I can't even hear the fans in the Ally. There's like no when I put my hands near it, there's almost no heat coming out of the thing, and it's running at a higher resolution than the Steam Deck. And yet it's not only is it performing faster than the Steam Deck, but it feels like it's running cooler, right? But with that said, people, see you guys later. We're going to be talking more about this device on the Food Gaming. Getting the F out of here. See ya. So we can end this. How the hell do you end this? All right. Have yourselves a good one. All right. You've been watching Food Gaming Live. See you later, you son of a...